And welcome to lesson number. Excuse me. Salams and welcome. Apologize, I've got a bit of a flu. It's winter now. Salams and welcome to lesson number 62 on the brain. I love this topic. This particular one is called The Brain. This is by Tony Bazan, an educationist, a professor who's done extensive studies on the human brain as well as on leadership. And he says, and this is a quotation from him, your brain is like a sleeping giant. What does he mean by that? And here we are talking today about the subconscious brain. Very, very important. Let's go quickly to our basics again. Brain, left side, right side. There's the two hemispheres of the brain. There's the breech corpus callosum. So remember, we were just talking about the IQ and the EQ. The IQ is the rational side of the brain. EQ is the social side of the brain, visionary side of the brain. The architects are normally on the right side of the brain. Those people love to draw, love to do coloring. The waiters, the waitresses, hospitality industries, all of this. These are the hard sciences, physics, maths, science, accounting. All of these are the left side of the brain. Logic, rational, computer playing, chess playing. And then you have the top side of the brain. We have a beautiful IQ and a beautiful EQ. Those are the top brains. Those are the CEOs of the company. Those are the visionaries who got logic and who can see far distance. They can see 10 years into the future to say, we are visionary thinkers. This is where we want to see the company going, and let's focus and get the company going. So those are the visionary thinkers. So now what has that got to do? Now remember, when you're using your brain, this is the analogy. Imagine this is the brain. This is the capacity of your brain. So this is your brain. So this in general term, normally I do talk about the Pareto per 90-20, but just for a moment, imagine this whole triangle here is the capacity. Think of it as the hard drive of your brain. That means how much capacity has it got? This is 100% capacity, right? The yellow and the red calls 100% capacity. 10% capacity is called the conscious brain. The conscious brain uses up 10% is when you're awake, like when I'm talking to you now, while you're listening, you're watching a movie, you're busy studying your exams, you're at work, you're busy working, you're going shopping to the mall, you're doing your grocery shopping, you're driving a car, all of that just comes under 10%. The rest of the brain, 90% of the brain is called the subconscious brain, is just sitting there, you don't know what's happening, is working behind the scenes, is working underground, you can't see it. This is the key to brain success. The subconscious brain, you don't see it. The 10% of the brain is where you can see it. Like if I'm moving my hand, that's my 10%. If I'm saying shop, that's a 10%. If I'm saying I love bright place, rugby, sunny skies and BMW, that's 10%. If I say Jan Piravit, Jan Piravit, Jan Piravit stansel, Jan Piravit, Jan Piravit, Jan Piravit stansel, goeiemorgen my man, dis koffie en die kan, goeiemorgen my vrou, is swinky for yo, then that is the 10% because I'm revising something, I'm singing a song, I'm revising a poem, I'm studying a book, that is 10%. But 90% of the time, that is why your brain is like an iceberg. You remember the movie called The Titanic? This is the Titanic. The captain of the ship only saw, let me try and bring a white paper here. The captain of the ship only saw a small part of the iceberg, right? So this is an iceberg. When you're going in a ship, this is what you see. You only see a small part of the iceberg. But what you don't see is that the iceberg is actually very big. The iceberg is very dangerous. And the part that you don't see is that beneath the ocean, an iceberg is very, 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 very big. You don't see 90%. As you go deeper and deeper, you actually got a mountain underneath it. That is why the ship fell down into the ocean. It sunk in the Atlantic Ocean. So this is what the captain of the ship will see. You'll just see a small piece of ice. But the danger which every sailor knows is that an iceberg means that there's a mountain there at the bottom. There's a mountain of ice at the bottom. That's the meaning of an iceberg. And that's the meaning of the brain. This is the conscious brain. The conscious brain, we only occupy 10% of the brain. The subconscious brain, you still got 90% power. Think of it as a load shedding. Think of it as a spare battery. Every day you need a battery. So imagine for your brain, you need a battery to function your brain. But imagine you got 10 batteries. Every day you're only using one battery. 9 batteries, you are doing nothing with it. These 9 batteries is your brain power. That's your secret for intelligence. That is your secret for success. We are not using 90% of our brain. 90% of our brain power is sleeping. Why? We are not using it. We are only using 10% of our brain. We are wasting our brain power. God has given us a fabulous brain. It's like you got a V8 engine car, you got a sports car, say a V12 car, you got a V8 car, I think a BMW 5 Series, a V8, a 7 Series can be a V12. You know, a 750iL is a V12. Or you got a Ferrari, or you got a Lamborghini, you got a V12 engine. That can go so fast, you'll go 200 kilometers per hour, right? But imagine you got a V12 engine, you got a Ferrari, but you drive the Ferrari at 20 kilometers an hour. 20 kilometers an hour. People ask, but you got a Ferrari. No, I'm happy with 20 kilometers an hour. I'm going on the highway at 20 kilometers an hour. Why? I got a Ferrari. I got a nice Ferrari. It's a nice red Ferrari. 20 kilometers per hour. 20 kilometers per hour. That's how we are abusing. We are not using the brain. We are abusing the brain. We are driving the brain at 20 kilometers per hour. But your brain can go at 200 kilometers per hour because we are not using the subconscious brain. What about the rest of the power? You got a V12 engine in your brain, but you're driving it at 20 kilometers an hour? We are using 10% of our brain. 10% of our brain. We are not using the other 90% of the brain. We are not using it. 20 kilometers per hour with my Ferrari. I've got a 750i. Imagine you got a 750i BMW, or you got an M3, or you got an M4, or you got a Porsche, or you got a Lamborghini, and you're on the highway. Hey, I bought a Lamborghini, and you're driving 20 kilometers per hour. You're waving at all the people. Hey, people, look at my Lamborghini. Isn't it a nice car? So we do the same thing. We buy shampoos for our head. We put a nice hat on our head. We do everything for the brain here, but we don't do anything for inside the brain. We fix up the outside. We shampoo this hair. We put a nice hat on our head. We go for a haircut. We must make sure it's nicely styled. We spend so much money on the outside of the brain. We don't spend money on the inside of the brain. So we only use 10% of the brain. How do you use the 90%? Read, study. How do you think people like Elon Musk have become so genius? They are passionate about reading. Study the life of Elon Musk. He's a passionate reader. Napoleon Hill, read all the time. Andrew Carnegie, you must read. Dale Carnegie, you must read. Henry Ford, the master captain of industry who made America great, a great nation. In America, how America became great. We must, as South Africans, must learn from America. We had people like Andrew Carnegie, Dale Carnegie, Napoleon Hill, Andrew Carnegie, the steel merchant, the steel giants, the captains of industry. Then we had Henry Ford. And these people, and Thomas Edison, let's not forget Thomas Edison. He to discover the incandescent electric lamp, the filament. He failed. He tried the experiment, it didn't work out. He tried a second time, it didn't work out. Tried a third time, it didn't work out. Tried a fourth time, it didn't work out. He kept on trying. It just wasn't working out. Finally, he got it right. You know how he got it right? How many times he failed? You tell me. You know the answer. The Gen Zs know the answer. And ek weet man, you're a Gen Z, is slim man. You'll not pretend all the time. You'll make ek a opa. You'll make me dumb. You'll weet the answer. How many times did Thomas Edison have to do the experiment before we got electricity in our house, the electric lamp? Well, not electricity was Benjamin Franklin. But how many times did Thomas Edison do the experiments before he found the correct filament, the carbon mixture in the vacuum bulb? How many times? You tell me. Tell me in the comment section. All right, you know the answer. 10,000 times. Why? Because he used his brain power. He did not just use the 10%. He said, no, we don't quit. We're going to keep on trying because we've got a fabulous brain. All of us, the rest of us, what do? We're on cruise control. God has given us a V12 engine brain. V12 engine. We've got a Ferrari here. But we're driving it like a used, we're driving like a 20-year-old Toyota. We're driving it like a bicycle. 20 kilometers an hour. For what? You got brains. You got a V12 engine. You're driving like a V2 car. So please make use of your brain. Let's make this world a better place. And please help me share knowledge. You know, let's make South Africa a better place. Let's make the world a better place. Share knowledge, share knowledge, share knowledge about the brain, share knowledge about everything. Remember, don't put your brain in a cage. Take out the toxins from your brain. Take out negativity from your brain. Don't tell people that you, when people tell you you can't do it, you must say, yes, I can do it. Take out the apostrophe T. Apostrophe T is failure. Don't say, I can't do it. Say, I can do it. Take out the T and you can start doing things. Remember, life is difficult. Life is full of challenges. But whatever answer you want, the answer is inside here. You either your brain can be your worst enemy if you're gonna put it in the cage, or it can be your best friend that's gonna catapult you to success. Don't put your brain in a cage. Don't allow other people's envy to put your brain in a cage. They will tell you not to do things. You know why? Because they are jealous of you. Because they want your job. They want your girlfriend. They want your house. They want your cars. So don't let other people put your brain in a cage. So remember, life is difficult. But be mentally strong, keep your brain strong, have a lot of water. Brain needs three things. It needs water, it needs oxygen, and it needs sugar. So always remember, when you got a hard work, you got studying to do, drink lots of water. Brain is made up of 85% water. Drink a lot of water. So the Gen Z people, Mensa, the youth, I'm sharing knowledge with you because I'm 64 years, I'm about to die now. So Ek is now halfway through the grave. So before, you are still young, your life is just starting, you are 15, 16 years old. So please, take my knowledge, stand on my shoulders, take my knowledge, learn from my lessons, be mentally strong, drink water for your brain. If you're studying for your exam, drink water, have some sugar, take some deep breathing exercises. Your brain is very hungry for oxygen, and very hungry for water, and very hungry for sugar, which is glucose. So give your brain those three things, please. Right? So don't quit. If life is difficult, don't quit. Don't make your brain paralyzed. Don't put your brain, you put your brain in a cage, you're making your brain paralyzed. Okay? So last one, may your life, my prayer for you, may your life be full with blessings, barakah. Always remember God. Alhamdulillah, praise be to God. And then from myself, warmest regards, may everything good for you. May your life be full with success. And remember, I'm sharing knowledge. I love to share knowledge, and I want you to share knowledge. Let's make the world, if you love to share knowledge, because I love to share knowledge. So if you love to share knowledge and I love to share knowledge, then we are like two swans on a pond. And we're going to fly together in the sky, in the night sky with the stars and the bright moon in the corner, and we're going to make the world a fabulously wonderful and beautiful place. Stay well, look after yourself. Alhamdulillah.